Hello again, this is the Richard and Judy Book Club in exclusive conjunction with WHSmith, and this is this week's book. This is a remarkable story because you really live in someone else's interior world, that of a young girl. It's called The Land of Decoration by Grace McCleen. It's about a young motherless girl who lives with her father. He is devoutly religious, extremely devout, and so is she. She has no choice, that's what she's been brought up to. And this makes her different and separate from her friends at school, everywhere really. Her life is almost all for the church that they belong to. And she has this extraordinary thing in her bedroom. It's a sort of model village in a way, which she makes out of rubbish. But she discovers, when she's been bullied very severely at school and is desperate to find any reason not to go the next day because she thinks she's going to have her head stuffed down a toilet by the bullies. She wonders, wouldn't it be smashing if it snowed and we had a school day? You know, there was no way that anyone could get to school. So in the model village, before she goes to bed, she makes a snowstorm with shaving foam and flour and sugar and stuff, and wakes up the next morning, and this is October, and there has been a massive snowfall outside overnight. And this is the start, the point of the book, that the model village, the land of decoration of the title, is a way of creating miracles. And it's utterly believable. Grace, it's an extraordinary concept. I wasn't sure as I started to read it if it was going to work, to be honest, because it's such an extreme storyline, but it does. How did it occur to you to have a little girl who can do these things?
I was writing a really long book which wasn't working very well, and one day I gave myself permission to stop writing the long book and just wrote what was occurring to me at the time, and that was the first page of The Land of Decoration. And then I didn't know, who was speaking or what it was about, so I just kind of worked my way backwards from that and asked myself who was the character, and it seemed to be a child. And everything, in the whole book was basically grew, like a little mustard seed from that first page. Yeah.
So when you started, you honestly didn't know what you were really going to do with it. But the power of what you'd actually written arrested you so much that you thought you could turn it into something else, because it is quite an extraordinary concept.
I don't know if it's extraordinary, but it did all come from that little bit of prose that I just let myself write.
I can see that. If you don't mind, I'll just read the first couple of paragraphs. So the chapter, the prologue is The Empty Room. In the beginning, and you can see the biblical references straight away. In the beginning, there was an empty room, a little bit of space, a little bit of light, a little bit of time. I said, I'm going to make fields, and I made them from table mats, carpet, brown corduroy, and felt. Then I made rivers from crepe paper, cling film, and shiny tinfoil, and mountains from papier-mâché and bark. And I looked at the fields, and I looked at the rivers, and I looked at the mountains, and I saw they were good. And I said, now for some light. So we're really in Genesis territory here, aren't we?
Yeah.
What about the nature of God in this book? Because this little girl has a ongoing dialogue, proper conversations with the Almighty, doesn't she?
Yeah, maybe, or maybe,
okay.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, I don't know as an author, whether she's schizophrenic or whether. I mean, I don't believe in a personal God anymore, but so it was completely open in my mind as I was writing it. And I think that's the best way to work, to not, know. To formulate your ideas and to plot and plan, because it's much looser and more organic and spirited.
This is your first novel?
Well, it is my first published novel, but I chose to approach publishers with this book rather than two others, which were almost finished, because I thought they were not saleable and not publishable. So, I mean, they are going to be published now, thanks to this one.
Yes.
But I thought this was the more accessible and friendly sort of book.
It is a very friendly book, actually. Technically, it's beautifully written. It reads to me like somebody who's possibly gone on a 3-year writing course or something.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
I think it's very flat and, awful in places.
Joking?
No, it really, but yeah, there's just a few moments which are worth something, but most of it is not very good.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Well,
it's sublime. The girl takes dreadful revenge using the land of decoration on these bullies who pick on her simply because she's religious and different. And she can't sit in assemblies because she's not meant to associate with the world and all this nonsense. It made me wonder if you were bullied at school, because the revenge is quite exquisite, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, I was bullied at school and I wished I could have done what she did to them.
Well, yeah, so do I. I was bullied. Maybe there was a bit of wish fulfillment there, yeah, with the fantasising about. I think it's interesting, though, that as a child I probably would have just wanted to wreak revenge and not really come to the place where Judith does, because by being able to exact some sort of retribution on her enemies, she actually comes to feel empathy for them, you know, and comes to see them as victims themselves in their own way, in different circumstances.
So now that this has been so well received and well received by critics, has this given you a huge amount of confidence?
I don't know, because in a way I feel it's very misunderstood still. So
What, this book?
yeah, so I think that what people love about it is one thing, but I'm not sure it's the real thing. But maybe they'll see the real thing in a while. So when you say, has it given me confidence? It has, in the sense that I never thought I could move people, or I never thought I could touch people, or I never thought I could interest them, you know, and make them turn pages. And I have done that with some people, but I still don't feel completely understood. But I think maybe when the other two books come along, people will
you'll develop
see
a
it a
body
bit
of work.
more. Yeah.
Can I ask you what your thoughts are on organised religion? Because, I mean, I personally found the nature of the worship and of the belief system that this girl endures through her father and these tight-knit members of their church infuriating.
Right.
Because it closes her off to so much and shuts down her imagination so much, and it's so rigid. Was I wrong to get the impression that you disapprove of organised religion?
I really don't, and I don't have. I hope there were no villains in the book, and I hoped I could kind of make everyone sympathetic characters.
Except God. He's pretty
Actually,
unpleasant.
interestingly enough, yeah, except God, if he is a real God and not some figment of Judith's, you know, subconscious. But I think there's a lot of danger with organised religion because of the power it has. But I don't think it's bad per se.
Well, you're an exceptionally modest person for a writer of such rare skill, who can tell such an unusual story so definitively and believably. And you, of course, lots is open to question. Is God speaking to her, as you say, or is she schizophrenic? And many other aspects of the miracles that she seems to be able to create. But I just congratulate you. I think it's wonderful. And I do hope you do find the confidence that Judy assumed that you now have.
Oh, thank you very much.
You should.
Thank you.
It's really worth a go, this. It really is. You'll fall into it. The Land of Decoration by Mcleen. And as ever, if you get your copy of it from WHSmith as opposed to anywhere else, in the back there's lots of extra content. There's our interview that we do on the page with the authors. There's details on how to download the podcast, all that kind of stuff. But really, the great thing about this book is it's just a story of the kind you've never read before, and you'll love it. Thank you.